What's up, guys, and welcome to my 250 subscribers special. Today I'm gonna show you a little bit about Illustrator. I'm gonna show you kind of how it works, how some things work, a little bit of the basics, maybe a little bit more. We'll have to see. So basically, if you want to start, I already have a project open. But if you want to start a project, just go to new. I like to work in A3 files. I don't know why. I mean, I could work in other files or other file sizes, but I just like working in A3. So you make it. I'm gonna close this one again because I already have the other one. And then what you might or might not see on my videos most of the time, which maybe I should have on, are the rulers. If you want to open those, go to View, Rulers, or do Command or Control R, depending on if you're on a Mac or Windows, obviously. So then you got these two little things. There's a selection and a direct selection tool. If you make a shape, you can select the whole shape with the selection tool. With the direct selection tool, you can also just pick up one of the anchor points, or two, or however many you want. And you can change this to a group selection, and I'm pretty sure that selects the whole or one thing from a group. So if we just group this group, then it just picks up one of them instead of both, which the selection tool would do. See? So that's how easy that is. There are a lot of different tools, but it's not that hard. So what shall we make today? I'm getting a lot of people asking if I can make or if I can make a tutorial on how I make my avatars. So I don't really have like a model or anything for someone that I can make right now, but what I just did, I made like a box, and then I pulled this thing to the middle. I'm basically pressing shift to make it go diagonally, and I dragged it up a little bit from there. So it has this little bit of a curve that you see in my art on it. Then I do that with all of the corners. And basically I did this once. I have a template of this. I can put it in the description if you want to play around with that, then you can. It's just a template of this thing, which I start with every episode. I think this one is a little bit less curved, but that doesn't really matter. Then I will go and pick out someone to make. So I will be right back. Alright, so when I got my screenshot, I just go here, down here, make a new layer, put it below everything else that I'm making, paste the screenshot, and now you're gonna see who we're gonna make. Yes, it's Steve. We're gonna make Steve. So I usually make it a little bit larger, so it's a little bit easier to see what is where. Then I press the I key, or you go here to the puppet tool, and I just select one of the things to make it the skin color. After we've done that, I'm going to pick the pen tool, which is right here. I put it right here. You can do that by doing this and then that. And then I did it, pressed the 2 arrows and I got it like this. And we're gonna make his hair, which we pick up his hair color and then go back to making his hair. And what I usually do is just, I make the shape. It doesn't matter what's outside of it because I'm gonna get rid of that later. And his hair is somewhat like this. So let's change a little bit of that. As you saw me doing, I dragged away. That makes the shape turn, like makes it not straight. And that's what this tool is doing as well. This is the, what's it called actually? I have no idea. It doesn't want to do it. It doesn't want to show me. Well, anyways, you pick up this tool and you can shape everything like that. Then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use the Pathfinder. The Pathfinder can be found on Window and then Pathfinder. And then you get this little thingy right here. You probably get Align and Transform with it as well. You don't really need it there, but I kept it there because Align is really handy in some kind of ways. Because I could basically do this and now it's in the exact middle. And my mouse is making a nice thing. That's because of the newest update. But what we're gonna do now, we're gonna copy this thing and paste it back, then pressing Command and then the squiggly, I don't even know what the button is called. It's basically there, arrange, and then this one or this one. If we send it backwards, it's gonna be behind the hair. Then we're gonna select both of them and we're gonna use this intersect shape, which will only keep the shape that is in the middle of both of them. So now we have the smooth edge that we have on the whole face. Now next up, we're gonna make the eyes. The same thing that we did with the pen tool, we can do with the rectangle tool. And just press that and you will get this thing. And on the rectangle tool, we have a couple of different tools, with one of them being the rounded rectangle tool, one of them the ellipse tool, the polygon tool, the star tool, and the flare tool. Myself, I never used the flare tool. I don't know why it's still there. It's a little bit ridiculous making these kinds of things. But maybe in some ways it's useful. I don't know. I never used it, but to some people it might be useful. Then if we press Shift while making one, we are going to make it round. And we don't want to do that. So we're not pressing Shift, we're just making one. This is going to be the eye. Then you see these circles over here. Those you can drag along and make the rounded edges smaller or bigger. Well, not really bigger because they were the biggest size they could be, but I like them like this, maybe a little bit like that, and a little bit longer. This should be fine. And now we are picking the color of the pupil, grabbing the ellipse tool and making the eye. I pressed Shift and Alt to make this basically come from the middle and be round always, and not just like that. And what you usually see in my art is that I add a little bit of detail in the eye, like that, and a little bit of a darker color, which I just do like this. You double click on the color and you make it a little bit darker. Grab the ellipse tool again, Shift Alt, and it will be the same thing, just make it a little bit smaller. Grab the top anchor point and drag it to the middle, and then just put it below. Now you have a beautiful eye, don't you think? And then I just select all of it. You can group it if you want. Press Alt and Shift to make a copy and drag it this way. Now we want to have those and drag those this way. Press Shift to keep it on the same line. You don't have to, but it's easier. And I see that it's a little bit off. It needs to be a little bit more to that side. You can move them with the arrow keys as well. So we're gonna pick the next thing, and we're gonna be making the mouth, which I just make a line and another line to the back to the other anchor point. I grab the anchor point tool, that's what it's called, and drag it up so it makes this shape, and then pick this handle and drag it down so it makes a nice mouth shape. And I don't think it's centered. There we go. You saw the line over here, that means it's aligned with something, and it was totally in the middle of everything, so that means it's aligned with the center. Then we're gonna make the nose. I think that the nose is a little bit too bulky and too dark. I think we want to put it up a little bit as well. So what I'm gonna do is lower the opacity a lot to about 30%, and that's actually not a bad color for the nose. I like that. And then if you want to make the little like unshaved face, just grab one of those colors, put it like this. It doesn't have to be the same as what I'm doing, but it's just a basic unshaved face look, which it gives. Make it a little bit smooth, rounded, like that. Then put it below everything, not that far. There we go. Pick up the back of the face again, put it directly over everything, put it back again. There we go. Select both the face that you just created and the unshaved part and click this one again. And then maybe move this one down a little bit to make it more on that part. And there we go. We sort of have Steve now. We could add a little bit of detail in his hair, because he has a little bit of color difference in his hair, like that. We have a little thingy. Maybe make a little bit more of those. A couple of colors that he has in his hair. You can just pick them and use them with the puppet tool. And it's that easy. It's not really that hard. You just have to know what looks good, I think. There we go. You have a little bit of... I don't really like this one. I'm gonna get rid of it. We have a little bit of detail in his hair. Not too much. Then what I'm usually doing is I'm adding a little bit of shadow to everything. So Command or select the part you want to have shadow in. Command or Control C, Command and Control V to copy it. Put it just about underneath it. And I either choose a black color or a color that actually is a little bit darker, which I'm going to do now. Put it behind everything. And this one we don't really have to cut anywhere because there's nothing poking out of the side. So that's good. Otherwise you just repeat the same thing that we did with the hair and the unshaved part. And do it again. And that's basically it. In the ending, what I usually do is I make another layer. I usually have everything on different layers, like the back of the head on a different layer than the rest, but I didn't do it now. Just copy everything, paste it again, click the Unite tool, which makes everything one, put it over the head. Then I don't have that now. That's right. I pick up the gradient tool, double click that, and drag it from up to down. Then go to the colors of the gradient over here. This one I pick black. I used to have it white, but it makes the transition a bit weird. And then change the opacity to 0. And this one I usually have between 10 and 30. I think 20 is good. Yes, 20 is good. And then I add a stroke. So go to the stroke. If you don't have any of these tools over here, you can go to Window and find them all here. Here you have the stroke. I think the gradient, it's not selected, so it's not gonna give, it's not gonna say that you have it, but it's there. You just have to see which ones are here. You have the transparency tool as well. And I've really used the transparency tool because I just used the opacity then. But I give it a 10-point ring around, a stroke around everything, and you can just easily change the color of that when you go here to the stroke color, change it to white or to orange, green, blue. What if we change it to that one? Oops, that's not gonna go right. Let's pick up that one and go to our swatches. Then I can show you something else. This one went down. Don't go down, just keep it up there. So if you pick that up, go to your swatches and you can just drag it there, and now the color is there. So if we go here, back to our swatches, because it's gonna switch to color every single time, click that, and now we have that color around our Steve hat. That's basically it. I hope you picked up a couple of things from this. And thank you all so much for 250 subscribers. I didn't think we were gonna make that this year. Goodbye guys, and I will see you in the next video.